Hey guys, and welcome back to Tony the Technician's channel, and today we're back to work on the 85 Camaro. I'm going to be removing the motor mounts today, as well as the rest of the air conditioner on the firewall. That includes the blower motor and all that good stuff. It's really not all that difficult. All you'll need for that is, well, for one, unplug the electrical connections. There's, I believe, like 3. Your relay is going to be mounted on there, and then you'll have 2 connections on the AC, I believe, and then 2 on the blower motor. Simply disconnect those, and then you'll need a 7mm and a 10mm socket, and maybe a wobble head and extension in order to get to some of those in the corners and stuff like that. But overall, not too bad. I've already removed it, but I will add the clip in after I get done yapping my mouth off here. And then the next thing, we're going to be removing the motor mounts, and then maybe removing the clutch reservoir, but I'll probably stop after I get the motor mounts off. I was reading a lot of forums on the motor mounts. I have changed the motor mounts on a 3rd gen Camaro before. It was my old 87 Camaro. I did it, I think it was 9 years ago now. So it's been a really long time. And back then I was in my father's place, and we were using his tools, and the tools that I have are a little bit easier to get to things because instead of using a universal joint and a socket, I have universal sockets that wobble, so it saves you a little bit of space and you can really get at things a little bit better. So you'll need a 15, and that's about it. Maybe some extensions and some wobbles, but that's about it. I'm using my Impact 15 and a 15 wobble head socket. And I've already taken the first one off. I'll show you real quick. I did spray them down with WD-40 about, I don't know, like an hour ago. And then I was inside and I came back out and just tried the first one, and it zipped right out. But as I was saying, reading on forums, people were talking about having to remove the wheel and pulling the A-arm off. I didn't do that 9 years ago, and I'm not doing it now. That is a lot of extra work, and you shouldn't have to do that. Hopefully we can do it without it, because I'm really not taking that crap off. But yeah, I'll show you the first one that I got done, and you can easily see all of the bolts down below. They are in a tight spot, but you are able to get to them without taking the A-arm off. So I'll show you that now. Okay guys, this is the second time I'm recording this now because I had it vertical. So I'm doing it. So basically I've already got started. Sorry, I was recording the wrong direction. I didn't want to put that in my video, so I'm starting from here. It's pretty simple. In order to get this case off the top and this unmounted, basically it sits like this. You'll just go ahead and loosen here, and then there's just this ring that goes around the bottom being held to this piece of plastic by one screw. Just go ahead and take that out. You can get that out of the way. Then you can get these 2 top pieces off. It's only being held in by 7mm and 10mm bolts on the back. There's just 5 7mm and 3 10mm. 7mm and 10mm. I'm not sure if I said that correctly. So that's all that holds that in. Now basically where I'm at is just removing it, which is pretty simple. This will just slide up the front and it'll come out. I am ordering the one that just mounts this part and then it smooths out, and it just gives it a little bit cleaner look instead of just having a hole right here. So once that comes in, I will probably finish removing all of this. It doesn't seem too difficult. There just seems to be 10mm in the back corner here, and then a couple more around here, like down here in the corner. But it seems pretty easy. If things aren't as easy as I think, I will definitely let you guys know. But so far, removing the rest of the AC system has been pretty easy. Okay, so now that I have the top removed and everything, there's only a few more holding this on. There's one bolt back here in the corner, and there might be one more, but I believe that's basically it. I do see these little stubs right here. There's a couple of them, and I'm not sure if that's a bolt running from inside the car to out into the firewall holding it on, or if it's just like a rod to sit on. But I'm gonna get underneath the dash and see if there's anything. I looked under there already. There's a couple bolts. I'm gonna try and remove those and see if it loosens this up. If not, I'm probably just gonna pull this thing off, like because I'm putting a new one on. It's not really all that big of a deal, but I also need to remove the blower fan. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started on that, and then we'll see if I can get it off. Alright guys, so got the blower fan out. Pretty simple. It's just a few 7mm that go around the base of the blower fan, and then you just gotta unplug the 2 wires that run to it, which are these 2 right here. Now we can get a look inside, see if there's anything holding it from the inside. If not, I'm gonna remove this one bolt right there, if you can see it, and then I'll give it a tug. If that doesn't bring it off, then I'll get inside the car and remove the 2 bolts that I can see down there. Alright, so we got it removed in a few pieces. It really wasn't that bad. If you're going to be reusing this, I'm not sure why you would take this off. If you're going to be reusing it, you can replace anything inside without having to actually remove this box. So really the only reason you would remove this if you're replacing it. So if you are replacing it, you don't really need to worry about it, because there are 3 bolts on the bottom that hold it in, but they are ran from inside the vehicle, and in order to get to them, you need to take apart the bottom of your dash, which I didn't feel like doing. So I removed the bolt that was in the corner back here, and it was pretty loose, and I just gave it a nice tug. It wiggled, so I stuck my pry bar down in there and I just popped it out. You can see it still left some behind. It's fiberglass, and I'm just basically gonna go in and cut these off and then be done with it. Then I can go ahead and install the new one when it comes in, and shouldn't have to worry about any of that. So this is what you're left with. But I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up and get the bolts all taken care of, and then we'll move on. Alright, so another thing that will help you in removing these motor mounts is a flashlight. A nice little bright flashlight, because this is the hole that you can hold your flashlight up to, and when you look from below, it'll shine right on the top 2 nuts inside the K-member. So then it took me about 30 seconds to get that swivel socket on the nut, and then I quickly just zipped it out with the impact and came right out. This one should be fairly easy compared to the others, because in the bottom of the K-member they actually have a hole for you to put your ratchet through and get onto the nut. So this one should be fairly easy, but the bottom one is the same as this. You have to go in between the K-member and the A-arm, but it is not necessary to remove the A-arm. So let's get underneath. I'll try and show you guys what I can see, but it's going to be pretty difficult. Okay, so I can't really show you because it is a really tight spot, but here's the hole I was talking about from below, and you're going to go up right here in between your A-arm and the K-member, and right up there is where the bolts are going to be. You got a small little hole you can get in through. Sorry you can't really see it, but that's it right there. So that's how you get to that front one on top, and in order to get to the back one, there's that hole right there. That goes directly up to the nut on the back side. And then for the bottom one, you're gonna have to go up between the A-arm right here and the K-member here, and you can get to the bolt right there. So it's not that bad. I'm gonna go ahead and get the bottom one now, because that's gonna be the most difficult one, and then we'll get to the top one. Okay guys, so the bottom one was taking me a little bit. It's right there, you can see the bolt, but This is in between the A-arm and the K-member. And here's the bolt. But for a while I was getting aggravated because I had the flex socket on there. I had to use a 1-inch extension, a wobble, and a 3-inch extension with the wobble socket. And I got it on there finally, and I kept trying to use my impact to get it out. And after about 10 minutes of trying and the bolt just spinning, I was wondering what the hell was going on. Well, I was actually putting the impact on the wrong bolt. So then I grabbed my flex head ratchet, and it fit in there really easy. So if you have a flex head ratchet, it fits perfectly up in here to get on there. And then I finally put it on the right bolt and had it out. So really, if you don't try removing the wrong bolt, the bottom one should only take you a couple minutes as well. This really wasn't all that difficult, besides me trying to take out the wrong bolt. So I'm gonna go ahead and start on the top one now, which should be pretty easy considering it's right up that inlet in the K-member. Alright guys, so I got the flex socket on there straight up through the hole in the K-member. Might want to wear eye pro for this. And then just put your impact up here and make sure your ratchet's going the right way. And there you go. She's off. Yeah, just make sure you wear eye pro because there is a lot of crap down here that you're gonna get in your eyes, and you don't want that. So that's how you remove the motor mount. Now I'm gonna start working on the other side. Alrighty guys, so this is the passenger side, and we already got the hard side done. The hard side is the passenger side. This is the driver's side, so here's the bottom bolt. You just go right in the bottom of the K-member, in between the K-member and the A-arm. There's actually more room on this side, and you can basically get straight to it. One second, let me kind of adjust myself. And then the top one, there's the top bolt, but you can actually reach them from right here. So there's one right there, and another one. If I can get the camera set up. There's another one right in here. Sorry, I can't really show you guys, but it is directly up that hole. I just can't get the camera angled right. But all three are very easy to access on this side, so let's get to it. Alrighty guys, so I'm in between the K-member here and the A-arm. Sorry, you can't really see much, but I'm on the bottom one right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and remove that. It is a very nice snug fit down here. So that's the bottom one already. Pretty simple. Might be easier if you jack up your car, but it's not really necessary with the engine out. I have quite a bit of room down here, so now we're gonna move on to the top one. Okay guys, so once again, sorry if you can't see that. I got my ratchet up through the A-arm and the K-member, and let's try and get this thing off. There she is. So this side is most definitely a lot easier than the passenger side. So there's the top one on the front. Now we're gonna work on the one on the back. Okay guys, so the hole in the K-member is right here where my finger is. Sorry, it's really hard to see, but just take your extension, show your flashlight through. Get your wobble face in the right direction. and we're on. So, now that we're on, right through here, then you're just gonna go up top. You can see this bolt right here. Let's go ahead and zip that out. I like fitting in small places. Boom, we're out. And that is the removal of the V6 motor mounts. Okay guys, so basically in this video I showed you how to remove the heater and AC box, which is pretty simple. Some of them are kind of a pain to get to, but not that bad, as long as you got a swivel. And obviously you shouldn't be removing it if you're going to be reusing it, I should say. So basically the only reason you would be removing this box is if it's already damaged or if you're getting rid of it. So that's why I didn't bother going inside and tearing apart my dash in order to get to those bolts underneath. I just ripped the thing out, and then I'll take my Dremel and I'll cut the rest of the fiberglass off those bolts and pull those out. It'll be super easy. And then we went into the motor mounts today, which a lot of videos online or a lot of forums say, oh, you need to remove your A-arm and remove your wheel and compress the spring. That's the easiest way to get to them. It's not. That is a lot of work in order to get to the nuts on the bottom. For one, they made the K-member to where you can access two of the bolts fairly easily, and one of them is kind of a tight squeeze, but as long as you got a flexible socket or a flex adapter, you can get to them. It's really not that hard. Or that one on the passenger side that is kind of a pain to get to even with universals, this angled just like that will get you right on there, no problem, super easy. Just make sure you put the impact or your other ratchet on the right bolt. So it was fairly easy, especially the driver's side. The driver's side was super easy. That one took me about maybe 5 minutes to get that motor mount out, maybe 10 to 15 minutes on the passenger side one, just because I spent a lot of time trying to get the wrong one out. But here's the old motor mounts. This one's not terrible. It does have a little bit of room in there. Basically this thing is swelled up with fluid and dried out, and it's just, they're not that great. But I won't be putting those ones back in because I'm dropping in a V8, which the motor mounts are larger. And another thing you need to do is move your brake lines, because where your V6 motor mounts go is now where your brake line needs to go. This line needs to move back, and then your V8 motor mounts go up front. So one thing you will have to do is move your brake lines that run across your K-member. Other than that, it's fairly easy. Don't go pulling your wheel and compressing your spring and taking the A-arm off. That is ridiculous. I also wanted to make this video because when I did look up how to remove third gen motor mounts, well, one of them wasn't, like, he still had the engine in and he didn't really show anything. The other video I watched, the guy literally took his camera under there with the engine still in, and he's like, oh, you guys wanted me to record showing how to remove the motor mounts, so here are the motor mounts. You take these bolts out and you put the new one. Well, that didn't show me anything. I wanted to see how to do it, but hopefully this helps some of you guys and you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.